I came up with the actual title for the sit down when I was going on one of my runs, and I had like a lot of the pieces of the puzzle together in terms of what the songs were about, but I couldn't come up with an actual title. And I'd been in the middle of watching the Get Down on Netflix. Love that series. And I was also just kind of thinking about Kaepernick at the time, because that was actually the last summer when he started really, protesting in his way. And it was really, I had all those things in my mind, and honestly it just kind of clicked. And that's where a lot of my ideas come from. I'll just be in the shower, driving on my bike, wandering. I was just in between sets and sit down jumped in. And the project is basically, it really, and I didn't intend it this way. Like I was initially, the project was going to be just a collection of songs, and it had no clear direction, just some of the stuff that I've been working on. So there was initially like a love song on there, a song about my kid, and I started with Bad Dude was the first one that kind of came out in that more sort of revolutionary sound, which was something new for me. And I started writing more stuff like that, and it just fell into place. And I should say that I actually had a conversation with somebody named Jea Taylor, Berkeley guy, someone from Wilmington also, and he's been really a sounding board for me in terms of how, just the whole direction of this current project. And we were talking about 9 Angels, and that's where I decided, after that first big conversation with him, that this was going to be a protest album. So the sit down is really a protest album, and it's the 6 or 7 songs that are on there are speaking to all of the specific difficulties and trials that black men specifically have to deal with on a regular basis. And females are also certainly included in the sit down in terms of like 9 Angels, but if you take the first song, Black Rebels, which the guy behind the camera is on, who's an animal of a rapper, Split Faces, Black Rebels is really speaking about rebelling against yourself, if you listen to that song. So the first issue you see there is the struggle that black men have within themselves to overcome all of the issues that you hear in that song. And then you have, as another example, I already talked about Bad Dude. Bad Dude is dealing with the cops. Black men have to deal with the cops in an exclusive way that's completely outside of everyone else. So that song is for us in that regard. 9 Angels, you'll see all in the 4. 9 Angels, black folk can't even go to church. That's our one place where we can just kind of sit back and have some peace taken away from us there. Another song on there, Teddy. That's speaking specifically about, for a black person, a male, growing up as a young black male into an adulthood, and all of the things that person has to see. I understand that there are other minorities and other people who live in poor parts of the city and in poor parts of the world who have to deal with it, who have to deal with certain things because of poverty. But again, it's very unique for a black male. It's different. And we can talk about that more, but again, all of the songs in the sit down are really speaking to the current situation of the average black man in America specifically. So that's what it's about, and you'll hear obviously in the forward exactly my thoughts, because I'm not here to say that I know all of the issues specifically, because I didn't grow up poor, but at the same time I live close enough to the city so that every time I drive through the city, I see these teddy bears up all over the place from young black men dying. So in as much as I'm not next door to it and I'm not as close to it as some people, it affects me. And I see it, and it's sad to me. So again, I don't have all the answers, and I'm just speaking from my perspective. So I'm not, if you hear some of the music and it speaks to you specifically and it resounds in you, awesome. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't. But it's my take on what it is to be black in America right now, and I try to touch on those on several different sort of bigger issues, with the songs that I have. So that's really what the sit down is. Most people who probably are who know me at this point know me as a guy behind the piano, just playing whatever kind of songs, my soul songs and like a lot of love songs behind the piano. And the big change from here, as you know me now, to the sit down is going to be going from me behind the piano to me with the whole band. So at least for the next year or so, when you see me out performing, it's going to be with the big band. And that has really given obviously a whole different dynamic to my sound. And past that, the recording process has been completely different because of that. And it's really been honestly a journey for me in terms of having to worry about all the different instruments. The biggest song on there, the last song, Going Home, or Start All Over Again, I don't know what the hell the name of my own damn song is. Start All Over Again, there's a string section in there. And my whole process for recording it, I started with the easiest song in terms of studio management, which was Black Rebels. And every song that I recorded was like a progression in terms of difficulty for getting it done. So this last song, which I have yet to record, we're gonna do that in a couple of weeks, Start All Over Again. There's a string section to that. There's just a lot more going on musically, and if I just started with that song first, the whole project would have probably ended up being a failure because I wasn't ready to handle that. So it's been a slow process of me figuring out how to manage the musicians. And even actually Teddy, that started out completely different. And I screwed up with that one initially in terms of how to record it. I had the process all wrong and started over and figured it out. So that lesson there allowed me to get Bad Dude done properly, and Nine Angels, and finally Start All Over Again. So that's, once that one's finished, that's going to be like a big sort of I don't know, something in my pocket or whatever the hell, however you say it. In terms of me gaining my stripes as a studio rat, if you will. So yeah. So I'm really excited for the sit down for a lot of different reasons, not only because I feel like I've been able to address a lot of just the turmoil that's been going on in 2016, 2017, but also it really has been a leap for me in terms of my sound. It's been an advancement in terms of just the kind of music. It's not just sweet love songs, there are no love songs on it. And it's also been a jump for me in terms of the content, in terms of how I write. So I'm just hoping that everyone gets something out of it. And I really think in the least that you'll find it to be a unique project, and hopefully you'll find it to be unique, and hopefully you'll enjoy listening to it. Plain and simple, for one reason or another. So sit down.